You've been told to follow your feelings, to listen to your heart, to do what feels right. But what if your feelings lie? They whisper stories in your head that aren't true. They convince you you're not good enough, that you'll fail again, that you should stop trying. Your feelings tell you to take the easy path, to stay in your comfort zone, to sit down when you should be standing up. They're loud, they're emotional, and they're not always aligned with reality. But focus doesn't lie. Focus is built, trained, sharpened. It doesn't depend on mood or emotion, it depends on discipline. Focus is the compass that keeps you steady when your feelings are pulling you in every direction. Because feelings are temporary, but focus builds the future. Think about it. How many dreams have died because someone felt tired? How many goals have been abandoned because someone felt afraid? How many people are living average lives because they kept believing the lie that they weren't ready, weren't capable, or weren't worthy? You can't trust every emotion that rises in you, not because you're broken, but because your brain is wired for survival, not success. It wants comfort, not challenge. It wants familiarity, not growth. So it sends fear when you try something new. It sends doubt when you step toward greatness. It sends excuses when effort is required. That's not truth. That's programming. But here's the secret. You can reprogram it by training your focus. When you train your focus, you override your feelings. You don't wait to feel motivated. You move anyway. You don't listen to fear. You take the risk anyway. You don't let doubt dictate your decisions. You choose clarity over chaos. Focus puts your mission back in front. It reminds you of your why when your emotions are trying to make you forget. The world doesn't belong to the most emotional person. It belongs to the most focused. The ones who kept showing up when their feelings said stop. The ones who chose to believe in the outcome, not just the mood they were in. The ones who trained their minds to follow purpose, not just passion. Your feelings will pass, but what you do in spite of them, that's what will last. So if you're tired of starting over, if you're done letting temporary emotions ruin permanent progress, if you're ready to take back your power, it's time to train your focus. Not once, not when it's convenient, but daily, ruthlessly, intentionally. Because in the end, your feelings don't build your future. Your focus does. Let's go deeper. Feelings are not facts. They're temporary signals. There's something you need to understand right now. Your feelings are not the truth. They're not fixed. They're not permanent. They're reactions. Momentary emotional responses shaped by your environment, your memories, your stress, your fatigue, and even what you ate. But they are not the ultimate reality. When you feel like quitting, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. When you feel like nothing matters, it doesn't mean nothing does. It just means your emotions are clouded, your perception distorted. But too often people let those fleeting feelings write permanent chapters in their lives. That's a dangerous mistake, because feelings scream, but focus whispers. When you live by feelings, you're on a roller coaster, up one moment, crashing down the next. But when you train your focus, you create clarity. You decide what matters, regardless of how you feel. You move with intention, not emotion. That's what separates the successful from the stuck. Training your focus starts by recognizing your emotional patterns. Think about it. How many times have you felt like giving up? And then, a few hours or days later, you were grateful you didn't. That momentary feeling could have stolen your breakthrough. That's why you can't obey it. Start becoming the observer of your emotions. Don't identify with them, examine them. Ask yourself, is this feeling helping me or holding me back? And more importantly, what would I do if I didn't feel this way? That question alone can shift your entire direction. You must begin to separate yourself from the noise in your mind. You are not the chaos. You are the awareness behind it. That's where power lives. Think of elite athletes, military leaders, or top performers. Do you think they always feel motivated? No. They've trained their focus to operate with or without emotions. They rely on discipline, on systems, on clarity, not moods. And the truth is, the more you train your focus, the quieter the lies become. Fear doesn't scream as loud. Doubt doesn't pull as hard. And even when they do show up, your focus keeps you moving forward. That's the win. So don't wait for your feelings to align before you act. Align your actions with your mission, and let the feelings catch up later. This is your power. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel tired and still show up. You can feel lost and still take the next step. Because strength doesn't come from feeling right. It comes from choosing right, again and again. Start there. Feelings will fluctuate, but your focus, that's your anchor. Train it like your life depends on it, because it does. Emotion is the fog. Focus is the compass. Think of your emotions like weather, constantly shifting. Some days it's clear and bright. Other days it's foggy, stormy, unpredictable, and if you let your emotions guide your actions, you'll crash because you're driving blind. But focus? Focus is the compass that keeps you on track no matter what the weather looks like. Have you ever had one of those days where you just felt off? Like something wasn't right, but you couldn't explain why? That's the trap. Your feelings painted a gray sky over everything, even when life was still moving forward, even when your goals were still there. That's what happens when you live from the neck down. And too many people spend their entire lives being emotionally reactive. If they feel lazy, they don't move. If they feel discouraged, they stop trying. If they feel alone, they isolate further. But what if your feelings aren't telling the truth? What if they are just background noise? You don't need to silence the noise. You just need to stop obeying it. Training your focus means learning to redirect your attention, even when your emotions scream for control. It means zooming out of the storm and locking onto your mission. That's how you lead yourself forward when everything around you feels heavy. Because here's the thing, your mind will feed whatever you focus on. If you focus on how tired you are, you'll feel exhausted. If you focus on how far you have to go, you'll feel overwhelmed. But if you focus on the next step, the next action, you regain power. You shrink the mountain into something climbable. And here's the truth that most people ignore. You don't rise to your feelings, you rise to your standards. If you've trained yourself to show up no matter what, to execute the mission even when your heart's not in it, then your emotions lose control over your destiny. That's not emotional, see? Oppression, that's emotional discipline. And that's rare. Winners don't need the weather to be perfect. They build in the storm. So ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? Is it the setback or the opportunity? The pain or the progress? The problem or the solution? Every time you redirect your attention back to your mission, back to your purpose, you reclaim control. You remind yourself that you're not powerless. You're not your moods. You're a force of will. Let your feelings come and go, but let your focus stay rooted. This is how you rise, not when it's easy, but when it's hardest. Because when your emotions say stop and your focus says go, that's when you grow. That's when you become dangerous. Focus is a muscle, not a mood. Let's get one thing straight. Focus isn't something you either have or don't. It's not a magical switch that just turns on when you need it. Focus is a muscle. And like every muscle, it gets stronger when you train it and weaker when you don't. And most people, they're out here trying to feel focused instead of becoming focused. They wait for motivation. They wait to get in the zone. They wait to feel like it. And they never build the muscle. Because training your focus doesn't mean waiting for the right moment. It means choosing the right target, even when everything around you is trying to steal your attention. Think about how you build physical strength. You don't walk into the gym and lift your max on day one. You start small. You build reps. You show up consistently. And even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, you keep showing up. That's how the body grows. And that's exactly how the mind works too. Every time you sit down to work without checking your phone, you're doing a rep. Every time you finish what you started without giving into distraction, another rep. Every time you push past resistance when it would be easier to scroll, sleep, or quit, that's one more brick laid in the foundation of an unshakable mind. But here's what stops people. They confuse boredom with failure. The moment something isn't exciting anymore, they say, I can't focus. No, you can, you just haven't trained to yet. See, we've been conditioned to believe that focus is supposed to feel good. But growth rarely feels good while it's happening. You build focus by staying present through discomfort. You build it by learning to sit with that itch, the itch to escape, to avoid, to quit, and not scratch it. Focus is forged in those silent, unnoticed moments where no one's clapping, no one's watching, and it's true. Set you versus your excuses. And the best part, once you build it, once you really develop that focus muscle, you become powerful in any environment. Chaos doesn't move you. Distractions don't own you. You don't need perfect conditions because you've trained your mind to create its own. That's how winners operate. Not with perfect focus, but with trained focus, built over time through friction, repetition, and discipline. So stop waiting to feel focused. Train it. Feed it with action. Strengthen it with consistency. And soon, you won't need to rely on motivation because you'll have built a mind that performs regardless of how it feels. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. You're either growing or you're shrinking. There is no staying the same. Let's kill the myth right now. There's no such thing as just maintaining. In life, in business, in discipline, in health, you're either growing forward or sliding backward. Progress is a moving escalator going the opposite direction. If you're not climbing with effort, you're automatically drifting down. Most people think that if they stay in their comfort zone, they're safe. That if they just keep doing what they've always done, things will stay the same. But that's a lie. Time is moving. Life is moving. The world is moving. And if you're standing still, you're getting left behind. Not actively choosing growth is passively choosing decline. You don't lose your edge all at once. You lose it little by little. You don't wake up unmotivated one day. It happens after ignoring discipline for weeks. You don't fail in a moment. You drift into it with small compromises and silent excuses. But the truth is, the moment you start growing, the game changes. You start gaining power. You begin to separate yourself. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you refuse to settle. Every workout, every book you read, every early morning, every rep of discipline. You're stretching your limits. You're evolving. And growth isn't always about going bigger. Sometimes it's about going deeper. Facing yourself, taking accountability, owning your weaknesses and attacking them. That's growth. That's progress. And it's not loud. It's personal. It's internal. It's done in silence long before the results are seen by the world. But it takes honesty, brutal honesty. Ask yourself, are you better than you were last month? Have you pushed yourself even 1% beyond where you were last year? Or have you gotten comfortable, safe, lazy? If the answer shakes you, good. That's the wake-up call. Because the world isn't waiting for you to catch up and your future isn't coming to rescue you. You have to go get it. So no, you can't pause life. But you can take control of your direction. You can either let life shrink you or choose to grow into the strongest, sharpest version of yourself. Start today, because the longer you delay growth, the deeper the hole you'll have to climb out of. And while you were maintaining, someone else was getting sharper, faster, more disciplined, and they will pass you. Growth is a decision. Shrinking is a default. Choose wisely, because you're never staying the same. Comfort will cost you everything. Comfort feels good, but it kills potential. It's the soft pillow that suffocates your dreams slowly, without you even noticing. It promises peace, but it robs you of progress. It whispers, you've done enough. It tells you to relax, that you deserve to rest before you've even earned it. And if you listen too long, it becomes your cage. The truth? Comfort is the enemy of growth. No one rises while staying in comfort. Greatness lives in the stretch, in the pressure, in the moments when you feel like quitting. But don't. Every powerful version of you that you're capable of becoming is on the other side of your discomfort. Ask yourself, what has comfort given you? A few easy days, temporary happiness, fleeting moments of escape. Now ask, what has it cost you? Missed opportunities, unlived dreams, weak discipline, regret. Comfort tells you to hit snooze. Growth tells you to rise. Comfort tells you to take shortcuts. Growth tells you to stay committed. Comfort says, you're fine where you are. Growth shouts, you were made for more. But most people will choose the easy path. They'll coast. They'll stay in the job they hate, in the body they don't love, in the habits that destroy them. Why? Because change hurts. Because doing the hard thing feels like breaking. But what they don't realize is, staying the same breaks you worse. You were not built to play it safe. You were built to chase, to fight, to evolve. Comfort may feel good now, but it builds a life that's empty later. Growth may hurt now, but it builds a life that's powerful forever. Every time you resist the urge to stay comfortable, you sharpen yourself. You build the muscle of resilience, discipline, clarity. You separate from the crowd, and it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Comfort wants to own you quietly. It wants you to sit, scroll, waste time, and just eat. Fire it all as taking a break. But how long have you been taking a break? How long have you been waiting for the right time? That time won't come. You either break out now or stay stuck forever. The life you want is not found where you are. It's found where you've never gone. It's in the pain. It's in the stretch. It's in the sacrifice. Because comfort may keep you safe, but only discomfort will make you unstoppable. So make your choice. Stay in comfort and stay small. Or embrace discomfort and become a force the world can't ignore. One more step, that's where breakthrough lives. You're closer than you think. That's what most people never realize. They quit right before the turning point. They walk away 1 hour before the miracle, one rejection before the opportunity, one push away from the breakthrough they've been waiting for their entire life. But not you, not anymore, because now you understand something powerful. One more step isn't just a motivational phrase. It's the difference between the life you have and the life you're chasing. Let's be honest. It's not hard to start. Everyone's motivated at the beginning. The energy is high, the vision is clear, the goal feels exciting, but motivation fades. Pain shows up, setbacks hit, people doubt you, and that's where most stop. They think the resistance means they're failing. But resistance isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. It's the price you pay to walk the right one. Success isn't about giant leaps. It's about one more disciplined step when you don't feel like it. One more workout, one more hour of work, one more attempt, one more day without giving up. You see, greatness hides behind repetition, behind the grind, behind the unseen, uncelebrated steps you take in silence. People will call you obsessed. They'll say you're doing too much, but they don't understand. Your one more step is where the old you dies and the new you is born. When it hurts, take one more step. When you fail, take one more step. When no one claps, when no one sees, when nothing feels like it's changing, take one more step. Because eventually, all those steps compound. They become the version of you that wins, the one who earns it, not by luck, but by relentless grit. You think the mountain is too high? It isn't. You're just underestimating how far one more step can take you. That's how legends are built, not by magic, but by refusal. Refusal to quit. Refusal to fold. Refusal to accept anything less than everything you're capable of. So when the world tells you to stop, you tell it this: I've come too far. I've sacrificed too much. I've fought too hard. So I'll take one more step, and then another, and I will not stop until I become everything I said I would. That's where the breakthrough lives. Right there. One step beyond doubt, one step beyond pain, one step beyond what you thought you could handle. So take it. Take that one more step and claim your power. The fire inside, use it or lose it. There's a fire inside you, and you know it. It's that restless feeling, that deep inner whisper saying you were made for more. But here's the truth: if you don't use that fire, life will smother it. Not with sudden tragedy, but with slow comfort, with distraction, with routine, with the lie that you've got time. You don't. That fire is your hunger, your purpose, your reason. But like any flame, if you don't feed it, it fades. And the world is full of people who let that happen. People who traded potential for convenience, ambition for safety, dreams for excuses. But not you. Not anymore. Because you've seen what happens when you ignore the fire. You start dying inside while you're still breathing. You start settling. You start calling average good enough. And the worst part? You start convincing yourself that this is all there is. It's not. The fire inside you is your call to rise, to build, to fight, to do something that scares you, to stretch so far beyond your comfort zone that you don't recognize yourself 6 months from now, because you've grown into someone stronger, someone unshakable. But that won't happen by accident. You've got to protect the fire, feed it daily, remind yourself why you started. Surround yourself with people who pour gasoline on your fire, not water. Cut out the habits, the environments, the excuses that keep you stuck. The truth is, life's going to test you. It's going to see if you really want it or if you're just talking. It'll send failure, rejection, delays. It'll whisper, go back, settle, no one will blame you. But in those moments, look inside. Remember the vision, the pain that pushed you, the promise you made to yourself. That's where the fire lives, and it's not there to keep you warm. It's there to make you relentless. So run with it. Wake up with it. Let it burn so bright. Hey, that doubt can't survive in its presence, because the ones who change their lives and change the world, they don't have more talent, they don't have better timing. They just refuse to let their fire die. So fan it. Use it. Let it guide every step. Because if you don't chase what sets your soul on fire, you'll be haunted by what could have been. You've got the fire. Now prove you're worthy of it. Make the end worth the fight. One day, this will all be over. The noise, the pressure, the grind, the wins, the failures, the struggle. There will come a moment, quiet, honest, final, when you'll look back and ask, did I give it everything? Did I fight like hell to become who I was meant to be? And in that moment, there's only one thing that matters. The truth. Not what people said, not what you pretended. The truth of whether you showed up every day or let fear run your life. Whether you chased purpose or wasted years making excuses. This is why you're fighting now. Not just for money or status or applause, but for peace. The kind of peace that only comes when you know you didn't waste your time, that you took the pain, the pressure, the problems, and built something real from them, that you didn't fold when it got hard, that you didn't let laziness, fear, or comfort steal your destiny. Because life's not about being the best, it's about being your best. It's about squeezing every drop of potential out of your soul. It's about refusing to go to the grave with your greatness still locked inside. So here's your reality check. You can either write a story worth remembering, or regret the chapters you never dared to write. You can either leave behind a legacy of courage or vanish in a sea of what-ifs. And no, the fight won't be fair. It'll ask more from you than you think you can give. But that's how transformation works. It demands everything, and in return, it gives you everything. So when the voice in your head says, "It's too late," you answer, "No, I'm just getting started." When the world tells you to shrink, you rise louder. When life breaks you down, you rebuild stronger. And when that final day comes, you won't flinch, you'll smile, you'll stand proud, because you'll know you didn't waste it, you didn't wait for easy, you didn't settle for average. You fought with everything you had. And that makes the end worth every second of the war. So go all in, burn the excuses, build your legacy, because you only get one shot, and this one matters. If you're still waiting for the path to get easier, you're chasing an illusion. The truth? It never gets easier, but you get stronger. Stronger with every choice to show up. Stronger every time you refuse to quit. Stronger when you stop waiting for easy and start becoming relentless. You see, greatness was never built in comfort. It wasn't forged in convenience. It came from the fire, the pressure, the struggle that makes most people fold, but turns the hungry into legends. You've made it this far. Not because it was easy, but because something inside you refused to settle. That's the spark, that's the fire, and that's what you have to keep alive. Every time you push past resistance, every time you take action while others wait, every time you silence that voice that says later, you're proving to yourself that you're not here to live a forgettable life. The world isn't waiting for another excuse. It's waiting for someone who's willing to face the fight and rise anyway. That someone is you. So now what? Now you keep climbing, you keep pushing, you keep proving that the life you want isn't found in ease, it's earned in effort. Because when you stop searching for shortcuts and start focusing on the work, everything changes. You begin to see that the climb is the blessing, that pressure makes diamonds, that the discipline you build today becomes the freedom you enjoy tomorrow. You are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for, but it's up to you now. No one's coming to do it for you. No one's handing you the life you dream about. It's you or no one. So stop waiting. Stop hoping for a break that makes it easier. Be the break. Be the force. Be the one who rises despite it all. Because at the end of your life, you won't remember how hard it was. You'll remember how powerful you became by walking through it. You'll remember how proud you were. That you didn't wait for easy. You created strong. Now go. Go create. Go fight. Go build a life that leaves no room for regret. Because the only thing worse than hard is looking back and realizing you never tried. And you're not built for regret. You're built for results.